Hi everyone, this is Dave Kline for RAPTR Adventures. In this episode, we're going to Marsh Creek Lake. Going to see if we can get a little fish. It's a great lake to kayak on. Paddle boards are also very popular here. You can rent boats and, you know, it's something here for everybody. If you just want to swim, there's a snack bar. There's even a place to buy bait. There's a couple of boat launches on either side of the lake. So check it out sometime soon. Marsh Creek Lake. Fed by the Marsh Creek, which we are going to go up and see if we can find any fish at home.
As luck would have it, or lack thereof, this day turned out to be a very windy day, which is something I didn't count on, but it's no problem navigating it with the pedal kayak. However, the weather was absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. It was just a joy to be out there, and I'm trolling along, not having any luck in the first part of the day, and then boom, right near this area, I go ahead and hook up with a largemouth bass, but unfortunately, before I could get you some video of it, it released itself. This self-releasing stuff happens a lot when you're fiddling around with cameras and other kind of stuff. So I started fishing this area where it was calmer and more protected from the wind. And it gave me some hope that there would be more action, but there wasn't. So onward I went, exploring some more of Marsh Creek Lake. Fortunately for me, it's not all about the fishing. That's a nice bonus plan if you can catch some fish and get them on video. But I love to just be out of doors. I get a kick out of watching birds like these great blue herons, and you're going to see a whole lot of them in this episode because they were everywhere at Marsh Creek Lake. And there goes that one off into the distance. Meanwhile, I had some decisions to make. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Where should I go next? And I decided to hurry on up and get on up to where Marsh Creek itself comes into Marsh Creek Lake. And we're passing under the bridge that leads us into a sort of a bay. Last time I was here a couple of years ago, this bay was completely choked out with aquatic weeds and lilies and all that kind of stuff, but apparently they cleaned it out. And lo and behold, here's a whole bunch of turtles. I also get a kick out of watching the turtles. Some of these turtles are really big. It's that I'm far away. You really can't tell how big they are, but they're big. When they jump in the water, sometimes they make a big splash. And then sometimes in this cove, I'm paddling in there and you see these little turtle heads sticking out. And so I'm careful when I'm trolling because last thing I want to do is snag a turtle. Get on in there, buddy. Look at this guy. Watch him romp into the water. Boom, boom, boom. There he goes. Ah, man, I just love it. And these ramps, or turtle stations, as they're probably more appropriately called, were built and put there on purpose. And every once in a while, you'll see a cormorant will come by and visit the turtles too. But turtles love basking, and especially on a bright, sunshiny day. Like I said, it was windy, but the sun was really, really bright, and it was really, really pleasant. So onward we go, up toward Marsh Creek, looking to see if we can find any life. I'm hoping there's some perch there. I just don't know. Last time I was here, there were perch there. So you know how it works with fishing. If you have one spot that's good, you go ahead and try it again. And boy, I tried. I tried as far up this creek as I could take the kayak, and not a fish to be had. Matter of fact, to tell you the truth, I didn't even see any fish in here. As I said, in the past, there are fish in here, but on this day, no such luck.
Whoops, surprise. Looks like up here's about as far as we're going to get. Yep, we hit something there. Okay, that's as far as we're going up the Marsh Creek. too shallow to get any further from here without a lot of effort getting out and portaging and stuff. So we'll just go ahead and turn it around. You know, the funny thing is there's civilization all around us, and yet we are totally alone in here right now. You can see the rocks. That's what the bottom of this creek is like. A lot of rocks, big rocks too.
But unfortunately, I couldn't hook up with a single fish here in Marsh Creek where it comes into the lake, so I moved out.
Oh boy, we've got some action. What's that? Not a bad sunfish. Get him in. Here we go. That's a male. How do you know? Look at how long this black thing is right here. It's like extension to the fin. Yeah, there's a scientific name for it. I don't remember what it is right now. But when they have these long ones like that, that's a male sunfish. Nice. Let's let him go. They're very hardy, as long as they don't swallow the hook. What a beautiful day. Look at that. That looks like a painting, doesn't it? Here at Marsh Creek State Park. Well, we didn't have any luck at all up in the creek. And I've been there already, catching one fish after the other, mostly yellow perch up in there. So, we had a bass, we lost the bass. Didn't get that on film. Got this sunfish on film. I say we press on. We're gonna just work along this shoreline here. See if we can coax any others out of the weeds. Ooh, I switched to a jig head and a little white grub.
The result of that change enabled me to catch this crappie bass and let him go.
There's an American bald eagle right there. It's way off in the distance though, but you can tell from its white tail. It's in the tree line there. Come on, fly our way. That would be awesome. Just then you can get a flash of its tail. See that white in its tail? I know it's far off. I have it on extreme telephoto lens. But there, every once in a while, there. You can see it when he turns. There's his white tail, or her white tail. Oh, man. There are a bunch of cormorants that hang around this Marsh Creek impoundment of water. And this is their favorite sunning spot. Been here a couple times and there's always cormorants hanging out on the branches of these scruffy dead tree that's sticking out of the forest through the other trees in the canopy. They sun themselves. Sometimes they have, you know, their wings in that open position, which is really kind of cool to see. Look like a statue. Yeah, that's right, cormorants. How you doing? It's kind of risky passing underneath them because they are known to bombardier people. You know, like, hey, here we go. I gotta go, and here it comes. That's pretty neat. Well, probably a sunfish. Better than nothing. Oh, oh man. That guy flew out of the water. Get him in. There you go. I think this one's a female because this little black part of its fin there is not nearly as big as that other one that I showed you earlier. Thank you. I mean, these little fish, they're better than nothing. It's better than being out here all day long and just having no tail at all to tell. And let's have a release. Yep, goodbye. Doesn't take long and they're off for their next adventure. We're in one of the finger coves. There's a little creek that comes in right behind me. And we got another one. Now this one collected some seaweed with it. Oh, okay. Well, that's a bigger sunfish. So a lot of times what happens is if there's a couple sunfish in the area and they discover some bait, they call their buddies over. I don't know how it works. The next thing you know, there's a whole school of them over there. So here's this guy and we're gonna let him go. Okay. You ready? And there he goes. And okay, we got a little passing rain coming down here. So I'll just see it through. So it wasn't supposed to rain today, but it is. So I wonder if fish will bite in the rain. Let's see. Oh, I saw the line straighten out. And the answer is yes, they will bite in the rain. It's hard for me to see what's going on though, because I'm just doing a drop shot without any weight or bobber. And usually I can tell, I just watch the line. And now I can't tell that, so I'm kind of looking at the eyelet, the guide eye of the rod there up at the tip, see if I see anything happening. Oh! How long were you there? Sometimes they scare the crap out of you. That heron hears me in here talking to myself, thinking like, I don't know what's up with the humans. Okay. Let's try again, see. Watch and see if that line gets taken. Oh, well, definitely you saw that, right? There, see that? All right. That, oh, are you kidding me? Look at the size of this little guy. I mean, for a little guy, you sure bent that rod, brother. Okay, so apparently fish do bite in the rain. And, oh, let me get him. He's gone. He's self-released through the hole in the kayak. But man, pretty colorations on him, but just a little guy. He figures that the best bite of the day is happening now, and I'm getting soaked. There, boom. That little tap was enough to pull the kayak. And no bait. Try again. Oh, there was a good hit. More sunfish action. The rain stopped. Look at that beautiful scene out there. Green of the shrubs, fish on, blue sky, white clouds. Pretty good. Let's get him in. Well, now it's sort of off and on raining a little bit, but this guy might self-release too. Just want to show you each one, and notice how the colorations are slightly different on each one. There's, of course, several different kinds of sunfish or panfish, but I love the stripes on this one. Okay, gonna let him go. Goodbye. And off he goes. Look at this blue heron wading along the creek. Every once in a while I hear him go, ooh, ooh. I look over and he's swallowed another fish. He'll just walk up and down the creek till he finds some food. It's amazing. And there are a lot of them here. To me, they always look prehistoric, like pterodactyls when they're in flight and where they squawk and stuff. All right, back to fishing. Oh, just like that. Oh, finally. Yeah, there we go. Yellow perch. Nice. I'll show you this beautiful little yellow perch. Sometimes their fins get bright red under here, these fins, but this guy's aren't so red. But look at the beautiful coloration on that. This is the kind of lure I troll, the pattern, the color, the yellow perch stripes, the green, the yellow, the black, and so forth. Now, I don't really feel up to it, but you could hook this bait as a live bait and go after something bigger, but I'm gonna let him go. Here we go, yellow perch. See you later. He was spunky. Okay, I can't believe the size of the fish that heron just got. Okay, I've been fishing here all day. I've been fishing all day here and didn't get a fish nearly that size. And I heard that splash behind me, and that heron, how do they know? Just waits patiently, sees the fish swim by, have a little drink afterwards there, wash it down. You saw it. Big fish, just right down the old gullet. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And that was that.
Next, I moved to the mouth of that cove.
Here's a fish on. A better fish. He hit on a fake worm.
can't get it up. Whoa! Oh my God, did you see that? Oh, and it's off. It was a muskie. Oh my God. Why couldn't he hit on the rod that wasn't 6 pound test? Honestly. Here are some frame by frame views. I think that fish was about 5 feet long. Honestly, it was big, really big. You can see the rubber worm in its mouth there. Wow.
I must say, that for sure is yet another agony of defeat moment. Oh, that hurts. Now, why did that muskie have to hit on that 6 pound test and an artificial worm when I'm trolling these gorgeous yellow perch stick baits out the back? A regular one and a segmented one. I mean, come on! When that fish hit, I was actually doodling around with another rod, working on a lure setup, and I'm trolling across now to have my supper. It's, so it's 20 after 4. I'll take an hour and take a break. That's my tradition, my habit, whatever, and then I'll go fish one of the other back coves. But you could say, well, Dave, why did you have the 6 pound test light rod in there trolling something along? And the answer is, never in a million years did I expect a big fat muskie, biggest one I ever hooked into yet, to grab that lure. But it did, and at least you got to see it for a moment on the camera, like I got to see it for a moment. I thought I was tangled up on the bottom at one point. I thought he was tangled in my rudder. But no, it was just a big fish, and on that light line, I knew if I jerked it and pulled it, it would have tore it out right away. So at least I got to bring it up to the surface before it managed to hammer me. Okay, nothing that a Wawa Italian sandwich won't fix right now, though. Okay, I've had my dinner, and I got to think about that catch and very rapid release or liberation of the muskellunge as it freed itself by jumping. And I've come to this conclusion. I was just trolling that 6 pound test rod, that little rod, just because I figured, well, I'm just going to go from this cove across the lake and shoot over to the dock area where my truck is and where food is. I'm sure nothing will happen in that little area, but I hate to just troll without having anything down. So I just threw that down, and what I threw down was about a 6-inch black worm with a little kind of like Mr. Twister tail that fluttered on probably like a 1/4 ounce lead colored jig head. And right about the time that fish hit, I was working on getting a knot out of one of my trolling lures. And so that means that the jig head basically took that worm way down below the thermocline. That might have been down there 30 feet. And the wave action and the wind action was probably bobbing that worm around and making that tail flutter a little bit. And that's when it got hit by the muskellunge. So I might change my tactics. When I'm trolling out here on the kayak, I'm only really hitting the top at most 10 feet of the water. I think from now on what I'll do is I'll maybe troll with one rod, and every once in a while just stop and let things go slack and let that artificial bait flutter to the bottom or toward the bottom and kind of dangle there in the water column. I don't know. I'm thinking about it as I go. Because I have with me a rod that has much heavier test. I would have been able to land that fish no problem with the one rod, 45-pound test. But I had that rigged up because I thought, well, if I get a 6-inch fish, I'll use that as a bait fish for a muskie, and I'll go back into one of the coves and just throw that out and wait and see if anything happens. So I had the rod, I had the right tackle, but that's not what was out of the boat at that time. At least we got some pictures. So let's see if we can get anything going here for the night action. So I'm not complaining or anything, but the bait I got at Walmart this morning was unusually skanky. I thought I checked it, but by the time I got fishing, it was just wasn't good. It was worms. Anyway, I found these in my pocket from probably 5 years ago. They're sort of like air-dried mealworms. So that's what I'm using right now. All right, now I'm in the last cove of the day. It's been a windy day. I thought it might die down, but it really never did. So here's a little trick I use in the kayak, because kayaks will get you blown all over the place by the wind. I just use one of these little fish grippers, and I attach it to the nearest tree. It's like a vice grip, it's like a clamp. And that'll keep me right in place here. It lets me swing into the wind, and it lets me go ahead and cast and do my thing up into this cove. There's a fish on in the night session. Don't know what it is. Boy, it hit like a bass. It's not big, but it sure hit like a bass. Oh, that's a bass, sure. Yeah, little largemouth bass here at Marsh Creek. Very nice. Let's get you in and get you released. You can make short work of this. Okay, hit it on a mealworm. I'm using dried mealworms. This is all I have left in terms of naturals. I didn't think anything would hit, but he did. So thank you very much. We're gonna let you go now. Just gonna flip him in. And he's gone. Just like that. Thank you, sir. So I flipped that back where this creek comes in. This is one of the other creeks that comes into Marsh Creek. This isn't Marsh Creek, but there are several places I found where fresh water comes flowing in here. So that to me is always a good place to fish if you don't have any other plan or any other clue or any other knowledge of the area. And I was running out of time. You can see the sun is setting, so I decided to paddle on back toward the dock. But first I want to show you here, all of the red X marks are where I caught fish. And now here we are headed back toward the ramp, and it's an easy to use ramp, and that's one of the nice things about this Marsh Creek Lake facility. All right, well, we've run out of time for this episode of RAPTR Adventures. Hey, if you have a place or a special area or a region or a special skill that you'd like to share with the world here on RAPTR Adventures, get in touch with me. I'd be happy to come and do an episode with you. For today, in this episode, it was Marsh Creek Lake. I had a great time. I lost that big muskie, but I've resigned myself to the fact that better for him or her, better for the fish, and better for me if I didn't actually have to boat it, because what do you do with 4 or 5 feet of teeth and squirming fierceness? So just as well, the fish released itself. I got it on film. I think that's a win. So thanks for being with us for this episode. I don't know where we're going for the next episode, but wherever it is, I'm looking forward to it already, and that's the way it works for me. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for being here. See us next time. I'm Dave Kline.